No, you started as a radio, disc jockey, as you said. When you were, spinning platters and making with the banter, did you ever think the President of the United States would be celebrating your unemployment?
For those who think I go too hard on Donald Trump, to the point where there are still a lot of people who think I should be pulled off the air for making fun of Donald Trump. So I want to explain, I talk about Trump more than anything because he's a bully. I don't like bullies. I played the clarinet in high school, okay? So I just don't like him. Donald Trump is an old-fashioned 80s movie style bully, taking your lunch money. And if you give it to him once, he'll take it again. And he'll stuff you in a locker and he'll stomp on your trapper keeper and slam the door. That is Donald Trump. Okay?
And yet, when Donald Trump repeatedly lies or cheats or shows utter disregard for our Constitution or just insults people, when he calls service members who died in battle losers, or fellow citizens vermin, or the enemy within, people make excuses for it. They say, well, he's not serious. He's not, everything a president says is serious.
All right, so you are not going to believe this, but the cleanest way to see Jimmy Kimmel and Barack Obama destroy Donald Trump on live TV is to put their greatest hits side by side like a tag team. Kimmel brings the Livewire crowd work, reading Trump in real time with a grin, and Obama brings that slow knife elegance, smiling while the room tilts his way. Same target, different styles, one result: Trump goes nuts, Trump meltdown, Donald Trump loses it. Pick your headline. The beats line up the same way every single time. At the Oscars in 2024, Kimmel literally read Trump's Truth Social review of the show on air and thanked him like the world's neediest Yelp critic. And years earlier, Obama calmly iced the birther circus with Trump sitting right there in a tux. You can feel the baton pass across time, like Obama drew the map and Kimmel just used it with stadium lights. So, the rewind, because context is everything.
So I get it. What I cannot understand is why anyone would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you. That I don't understand. Because there is absolutely no evidence that this man thinks about anybody but himself. I've said it before. Donald Trump is a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down that golden escalator 9 years ago. And when he's not complaining, he's trying to sell you stuff. He's got his gold sneakers. He's got the $100,000 watch. Says it's a Swiss watch, but nobody can actually figure out where in Switzerland was this thing made.
I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke.
Back in 2011 at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Obama steps to the mic, cool as a freezer aisle, and surgically dismantles Trump's birther obsession. The transcript is public and the video has been replayed 100 million times, but it still lands because the camera keeps cutting to Trump not laughing. Obama deadpans, then pivots, then deadpans again, and the room buzzes with that slow, oh no, he is actually doing this energy. That night became folklore. Ask anyone who knows their modern political TV, they will tell you that was the moment a future candidate realized being the punchline hurt more than he thought. It is not a conspiracy, it is a vibe. And the receipts live in the White House and government archives, right down to the lines about the birth certificate and the teaser trailer gag.
Donald Trump is here tonight. Now I know that he's taken some flack lately, but no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac? all kidding aside, obviously we all know about your credentials and breadth of experience. For example, no, seriously, just recently in an episode of Celebrity Apprentice, at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks. And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night.
Flash forward to 2016 and the encore. Obama closes his final correspondence dinner with Obama out. Mic drop, the cleanest exit bit in presidential comedy history. The transcript shows how he threads policy, media jabs, and a few tidy Trump hits, all while keeping the temperature low and the jokes precise. If the 2011 set was the opening body shot, 2016 felt like the elegant bow, proof that you can roast without shouting. Again, the sources are unimpeachable, from the White House archive to C-SPAN and a full text in Time. It is all right there, line for line.
The Donald is not really a plans guy. He's not really a facts guy either. He calls himself a business guy, which is true, but I have to say I know plenty of businessmen and women who've achieved remarkable success without leaving a trail of lawsuits and unpaid workers and people feeling like they got cheated. Does anyone really believe that a guy who spent his 70 years on this earth showing no regard for working people is suddenly going to be your champion?
Now smash cut to the Oscars, March 10th, 2024. Kimmel is hosting live. Trump at home posts on Truth Social about how the Oscars are boring and politically correct and how Kimmel is the worst host. Kimmel reads the post on air and says, "Thank you, President Trump," then twists the knife with a quick, "Isn't it past your jail time?" tee up. It is pure crowd work, weaponized. The clip is everywhere, and the coverage was instant from The Hollywood Reporter to USA Today and Business Insider.
Everyone, I was just, doing this show is not about me, and I appreciate you having me. It's really about you and Emma and all these great actors and actresses and filmmakers, but I was told we have like an extra minute, and I'm really proud of something. I was wondering if I could share it with you. I just got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos. He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous. Blah, blah, blah. Make America great again. Okay, now, see if you can guess which former president just posted that on Truth. Anyone? No? Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still, isn't it past your jail time?
It works because Kimmel uses Trump's words as a setup, then lets the room do the rest. That is the team play. Obama shows how to puncture a myth. Kimmel shows how to pin the reaction to the scoreboard in real time. And this is where the pattern turns into a loop. Every time Kimmel or Obama lands a bit, the same reaction arrives in some flavor. When Obama roasted him in 2011, it turned into the legend of a man who would not be mocked again. When Obama closed in 2016, it hardened the lore. When Kimmel read the Truth Social post in 2024, it set off the usual online fireworks. The character is consistent, the all caps, the spikes, the need to win the moment back with volume rather than wit. It is the exact habit that makes these roasts so sticky. You do not need to invent a meltdown, you just describe it and roll the tape. Trump Goes Nuts is not SEO fluff, it is a beat in the rhythm section.
And ABC is dying. He was the worst host in the history of the Academy Awards. Remember I did that? Remember I wrote I put a Truth. Everybody should go to Truth immediately. And by the way, we also love Elon, I have to tell you. Gave me a big endorsement, big one. But remember in the Academy Awards, I said how he's the worst host in the history of the Academy Awards. And this stupid guy goes up, and just before the Best Picture of the Year, the show is almost over. They're waiting for the Best Picture of the Year. He gets up and he says, and his wife said, please don't do it. Please, darling, don't go out. His manager said, don't do it. I have to do it. He goes out and reads my truth to the entire audience right before the prime time, the Best Picture. And it said basically, he is the worst host of the history. He reads the whole thing. And then I think he said something like, ha, 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 he thinks he bothers me, or some crap like that. I said, he's one of the dumbest human beings ever. He should have listened to his wife. What a dope. But
then came the week the industry called a cancellation and Kimmel called a test. In mid-September 2025, ABC pulled Jimmy Kimmel Live for 6 days after a monologue that mentioned the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk and dunked on the online outrage economy around it. Disney said it wanted to take the temperature down. Trump cheered the suspension and demanded broader punishment for broadcasters who criticize him. Reuters ran the timeline, straight down the middle, and it was messy. Some big station groups like Nexstar and Sinclair kept Kimmel off air locally even after ABC reinstated the show. The return happened the following Tuesday, but the corporate tug-of-war kept the story boiling. Kimmel hit back that night with a free speech defense, which let him frame the whole thing as a bully test more than a TV note. If you are writing the Trump loses it playbook, that page goes right after the Oscars page.
You know, as of this taping, the president has not weighed in on ABC's decision to put us back on the air. I don't know, maybe he's saving it for his late night toilet time, but His Magnificence had other business today in New York, big business, addressing the United Nations, which got off to a rocky start when the Trumps hit the escalator and it suddenly stopped. They had to walk up. He broke the escalator. Where was that escalator 10 years ago when we needed it on the way down?
The best part is how Kimmel told the story when he finally sat with Stephen Colbert. He said he got the call in the bathroom an hour before taping, guests already seated, crew rolling, and he thought, that is it, I'm done. Then he taped anyway for the archive and watched the affiliates peel off. Multiple outlets logged the tale, from Business Insider to Entertainment Weekly and The Hollywood Reporter, and the quotes rang true for anyone who works in TV. You plan everything, then a phone call flips your night upside down. That candor matters here because it shows why Kimmel's roast style lands. He is not pretending to be a politician. He is a comic playing through a blitz and still reading the card out loud. And look, if this were only about late night versus a politician, you could shrug and say, sure, that is the job. But the Obama chapters lift it. In 2011, the President of the United States told jokes that were actually about accountability dressed as comedy.
Why are folks making excuses for that? Oh, well, that's just him. No, there are consequences to these actions. They embolden other people to be cruel and divisive and racist. And it frays the fabric of our society. And it affects how our children see things. And it affects the ways that our families get along. It affects how the world looks at America. That behavior matters. Character matters. This guy is temperamentally unfit to be commander-in-chief, and he is not equipped to be president. And this should not be a controversial claim. It really shouldn't. I mean, it's strange how over time what is crazy gets normalized. And we just kind of assume, well, you know what? He said 100 crazy things, so the 101st thing we just don't even notice. He says he'll be his own foreign policy advisor. He says he can do that because he has a good brain. Now, that is contestable. Do you want somebody to be your voice who on tape brags about how being famous allows him to get away with sexual assault? Who calls women pigs or dogs or slobs and grades them on a scale of 1 to 10? That is not the voice of America. That's not the better angels of our nature. And we have a choice. We can choose that, or we can choose to teach our kids that our diversity is our strength, that women are full and equal citizens capable of doing anything a man does, that our job, particularly when we have positions of authority, particularly when this country has blessed us, is to treat everybody with dignity, treat everybody with respect, to treat everybody with generosity and kindness.
You can read the lines in the official transcript and see how the structure works. Short setups, true premises, clean tags. He did not have to call Trump a clown, he just let the facts wear the nose. Then, in 2016, he closed with gratitude to the press and a tiny mic drop, 2 words, Obama out, and the room snapped shut. It is not just funny, it is disciplined. Pair that with Kimmel's arena instincts and you get a 1-2 combo that turns bluster into content every single time. The handoff moments are the most satisfying to narrate. Kimmel reading Trump's review at the Oscars is the same energy as Obama looking into the lens in 2011 and treating a conspiracy theory like a sitcom cold open. The form is different. The goal is identical. Make the audience feel the gap between what Trump says about himself and what the tape shows. Obama will raise an eyebrow and let silence do the work. Kimmel will read the post and let the crowd roar. Both methods say the same thing. If your story was strong, you would not need caps lock to sell it. If you want a chorus, there is a chorus. During Kimmel's suspension week and the days after, other late-night hosts riffed on the absurdity of a show getting yanked for monologue jokes, while the same politician who demands punishment also laughs when his critics lose airtime.
Yesterday, after threats from Trump's FCC chair,
Some nights, it felt like a late-night relay where Kimmel and Colbert swapped chairs and told the same story from opposite sides of the desk. The Los Angeles Times ran the crossover night, and the industry chatter was loud. It underlined the point that this was not a one-host crusade, it was a club defending its space to tease the powerful. That framing turns Kimmel into the modern echo of what Obama did in a ballroom. Different stage, same rule. You do not have to like a joke for it to be allowed. Here is the thread that ties the bow. The biggest laughs these guys get are the lines that are closest to the public record. Obama's 2011 routine hit because the birther thing was bonkers, and he presented the paper and then the punchline. Kimmel's Oscars moment hit because he held up Trump's words and let them boomerang. The facts do half the writing, the timing does the rest. That is why the reaction always looks the same.
The moment that, because really the first people I texted when I got the news that we were pulled off the air, I came into my office and I told some people, and then I texted you and Jimmy and Seth and the 2 Johns to let you know what had happened.
Yeah.
But you were on stage at that time.
Yes. I was just finishing my show. When you're texting, I didn't get it from you. I was on stage. I just finished the show. It was a Wednesday night. We had a pretty good show. I was about to say, good night, join us tomorrow for Pete Barbuti and Adrienne Barbeau, or like whoever my guest was the next night. And Victor Buono, and some Victor Buono fans over there, thank you. And my executive producer comes over and he goes, hey, I just got this text from Carrie. She thinks I think I'm right to show it to you.
Kimmel modernizes it for a culture where the screen is in your hand and the critic is in your feed. Obama teaches, Kimmel tests. Obama closes with Obama out. Kimmel closes with, thank you, President Trump. The same economy, 2 signatures. When the target reacts, the loop closes and the joke hardens into a point about power and thin skin. It is not just entertainment, it is documentary footage of what happens when comedy meets a man who cannot let a bit land without demanding a rewrite. You can map the audience psychology too. At the Oscars, the country is watching with one eye on the winners and one eye on their phone. Kimmel knows that, so he uses Trump's post as content.
Is there something we need to know? Did we land on the moon?
Crazy. Gary told me that you should know.
Okay, Jimmy Kimmel's show has been pulled indefinitely by ABC. Wow. Wait, hold on one second. I'll be right back. I want to find out what this is about. I'll be right back. So, there's no signal in the Ed Sullivan Theater. So it didn't tell me why. There was no rationale given, just that you had been yanked. So I went backstage.
You figured I did something stupid, right?
I generally assume that it's your fault.
Yeah.
I I know you well enough to do that. So I went backstage, and then I was like, oh, I don't know what this, I can't really tell why this happened, so we'll talk about it tomorrow. And then we did the whole next night was just about you.
Itself. So here's the final image. Split screen. On the left, chandeliers and black ties, Obama at the lectern, eyebrow arched, a room laughing in waves while one man stares at his plate. On the right, big stage lights and a room full of celebrities, Kimmel reading a social post like it is a cue card and flipping it for applause. Same lesson, 2 teachers. Facts are funnier than bluster, and timing beats volume. If you have a favorite Obama line from 2011 or 2016, drop it in the comments. If you loved Kimmel's Oscars clapback, tell me which beat made you inhale through your teeth. And if you are watching this because you love a good Trump meltdown, hit subscribe, because every time he tries to cancel the punchline, these guys write a new one on live TV.